Unfortunate news. Calvin broke fibula, so he'll be done for the year. Feel for him. He worked so hard to get back to where he was, and obviously that happened. Chim had cleared concussion protocol. He did not go back in. He's still being evaluated for a chest contusion, so that's why he did not go in. And then Elliott came out of the game with a hamstring at the end there, so that's why he was in there. You look at the game. The defense played outstanding. Looking at it, situated throughout the entire game, the way they played. There's turnover in there. They get down there, get a stop. All those things they did. They played lights out. Unfortunately, offensively, we get a couple field goals, get a touchdown at the end there. But in between, there's just too many penalties that put us against a very, very good defense that makes it hard. You just keep going backwards instead of having positive plays. And we hurt ourselves in those situations. So we definitely have got to clean that up.
On the 3rd and 16 play there, on Houston's drive at the end, Mike, what did you see?
I was actually watching the pass rush. So I was watching the pass rush. I did not see that right until the ball got in the air, and I looked over there. So I'll have to look at the film to really tell you I was looking at the pass rush.
How disappointing to be in that situation, to set the other team up in that situation.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, you want to get a stop there and give your offense another opportunity.
Like the offense today, until the last drive when you had to go down the field and try and get a big play or two to get in position to score. The biggest play from scrimmage had been 16 yards. Was it by design to take the short stuff and just get the ball out of Cam's hands as quickly as you could, or were they taking away any deep chances?
Well, there were some.
For explosives?
Sorry. There were a couple opportunities. We were trying to throw the ball downfield, and whether they take them away. With the pass rush we knew we were going to face with 51, 55. We wanted to get the ball out of your hand at time to stay ahead. The problem was we had too many penalties, and we kind of hurt ourselves there. And then, we kind of had to change some things as the game went along with guys getting injured and not being in the game.
The play in the third quarter where Cam Ward was trying to go to Mason Kinsey there on the 36.
Yeah, down on the right of our bench.
Yes, to the right there. What happened there?
Just a missed opportunity. You're talking about that we missed throwing to Mason there?
Right.
Down there, like on the whatever yard line that was down.
Right,
Just a missed opportunity. We got to make those plays.
You mentioned penalties, just with JC specifically. Did he see and see? Was there a specific reason you saw coming off the 3 false starts with him?
No, we got to clean that up. We have to clean that up. That's something that's just against great pass rushers out there that they have. We got to hold in there. We can't have that happen.
Your take on early penalty on Jeff that kind of led to the goal line stand by you guys early.
I can't. I got to keep money in my pocket.
And as far as overriding feeling after this, when you showed some fight at the end, but too many, mistakes through the course of the game put you in a tough spot. How do you leave here managing all that?
Well, we got to clean it all up. That's the first thing I told everybody. There were so many good things in the game. The way the defense played the whole entire time, the offense going down there, getting points is to start halves, certain things. And there's plays that guys are making, but you just can't beat yourself against a really good football team. And that's what happened. The penalties kill you. And it's tough. It's tough enough to play against a great defense like that. And then when you have, just the penalties that you hurt yourself, it's even harder.
4th and 2 from their 28. What will it take for you in the remainder of the season to be in one of those situations and make the more aggressive decision?
Well, you go, like any situation in a game, you look at certain things. What is the flow of game? What type of game is it going to be? And what you think at the time and situation of the game you're going to do.
Every game this season has been the kind of the game where you need more points than the field goals you guys consistently settle for.
Yeah.
Is there going to come a time where you decide, I'm going to go for touchdowns in this game?
Oh, definitely. There's times we talk about it, as the game's going on as a staff, as you play the game, the flow of the game and everything. You do that all the time.
In this instance, what was it about the flow of the game that made you not go for it on such what seemed like a makeable 4th down opportunity?
Because we said at that point in time, if it was a certain down and distance, what we were going to do, and we kicked the field goal.
But what's the reason why you decided to, whenever you did decide not to go for it?
With where the ball was, situation of the game, all those things, we said if it's a certain situation, it's a certain down and distance, we're kicking a field goal, and that's what we did.
But what makes you feel like the situation in this game is going to present you with a different outcome later, where 6 points at that stage is going to be enough, where the whole season, 6 points at that stage of the game has not been enough?
There's other times during the game also, regardless of where the ball is, where we say, if it is a certain down and distance, we're going to go for it. And that's the decisions you make as the game goes on. It's always, and it constantly changes as the flow of the game goes. Where's the ball? Where's the field position? What direction there's so many other things that go into it. And we had talked about it, and that's what we did.
If Amy or Mike or Chad came to you and said, we overall want you to play more aggressively and not make decisions like that, but push, would you?
We talk about all the decisions I make all the time. And we constantly talk about it. We evaluate the game. We talk about the decisions I made, and that's what I did.
And are they satisfied with that conservatism,
I haven't talked about today's game yet, so.
generally speaking?
How do you balance, Mike? Cam certainly had some times where he struggled, but then has the big drive near the end where he has some big completions and not a lot of wide receivers to throw to either. How do you balance that out overall?
Well, I think everybody, give some of the guys that were in there that stepped up, give them a lot of credit for, creating the separation, getting open, whatever it was. Cam making the plays. He scrambled a couple times today. You saw, unfortunately, we had a penalty on one of them. Things like that. He's done a great job with that today, which was great to see. And that's one thing we've always talked about is Cam making some plays with his feet.
Specifically on the offensive line, make things for you guys today.
It just made it tough staying on schedule. That's the biggest thing. And myself, I had a cadence issue that caused him to jump off sides. But that's the thing that we got to get over is staying on track, not playing from, just backed up on first or second down. But as soon as we do that, we'll be able to, move the ball consistently.
Why was the cadence an issue, if you would? What was an issue about the cadence?
Just on particular play, not getting to the can. So that was, part was just on me. But as a whole, we just got to lock in and do more.
Was that issue on more than one occasion? Was it on a few occasions you had the cadence issue?
Not really. It's just more of us locking in the huddle, knowing what we're going on. But then just everybody, being ready to come off the ball, at the same time.
Third and longs today, it seemed like you guys were overcoming them early in the game. You guys had a couple of hiccups, and then we kind of took the roof off the play for the last play to Chig. Was that something that you were seeing yourself, or is that something that you guys worked on in practice this week?
It's a little bit of both. You got plays to run them versus certain looks. Then at times, you get in a certain situation, you have to run a play just off down the distance. So, it's a little bit of both. And I think Chig did a great job, seeing space. He made a great catch.
What went right, I guess, Cam, as a whole, what went right on that drive at the end, and maybe what went wrong on some other possessions where you just couldn't move the ball?
A lot of stuff went right today. The biggest thing that went wrong was inconsistency on first, second down from myself, from the penalties. The penalties was hold us back, all year, and it held us back this game, and that's why we weren't able to do more, for the defense.
What happened on the ball? He was talking about not sugarcoating his message anymore. He was clearly very frustrated. Jeffrey Simmons, and talked about the frustration of the 3 and outs and so forth. How do you guys take that message, and do you kind of understand where his frustration is coming from?
Yeah, I understand. I'm frustrated with him. That's my teammate, so I'm going to support him the same way he supported me throughout this whole journey. He's speaking nothing but the truth. That's something that, myself as an offense, as the quarterback, we don't want 3 and outs. That's something that we should never settle for. And the biggest thing, we shouldn't settle for punting the ball. We have to end every drive with a kick, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, and that's got to be the mindset every day. We have that mindset every day, but we got to, emphasize it and be about it on every play.
What happened on the throw where Mason was wide open and you guys didn't connect there in the third quarter?
Just a bad ball by me. That's his first time actually running the route, just due to, the injuries we had at wide out. But, I got to be able to see him and put the ball on his chest.
10 games in, do you still feel like this team is better than its record, or does this kind of feel like a 1-9 team to you?
It would never feel like a 1-9 team to me. We're way better than our record. But our record is what it is because we're inconsistent at times. And that's just something that we got to own. We just got to continue to play the next play. We got a great opportunity next week. We got to try to get our second win.
How do you hold on to the confidence that it's not just inconsistency?
Because I watch film every day. I know what the defense is doing every play. I know how to see the field. And just as the offense, we just remain confident because the plan is good. We just got to execute the plan. And I think that's the bright side of it is, it's not we don't have too many plays. We don't overcoach things. It's more the players just locking in and doing our 111.
Is there a chance on the 4th and 2 to make a case for going for it, and how eager are you for maybe a little more aggressiveness in some of those situations?
I want to go for it every 4th down. But at the end of the day, that's not my decision. We're able to get points out of there, so it's good.
Does it get frustrating though, like being in so many of these 4th and short situations and not getting the opportunity to go get it?
Yeah, at times. And it really just goes back, like my mindset, we're speaking on our record, we're 1-9. I'll go for it every 4th down. We have nothing to lose. So, but it's also, the situation game we got to play. Our defense, they playing they bust off all day, so we can rely on them at any point in the game. So, Joey, he came through for us. He got us some points.
Did you get a chance to talk to Calvin and how disappointed were you for him?
Just sad, man. Sending prayers his way. He's somebody who's in the building, doing his job every day. He's a true pro. He's one of the first people, to show me just what it is to be a pro day in and day out when I got to Tennessee. And for him to, go down like that, on a good day that I know he's going to have, it's just a bad feeling for the offense because we lose a dynamic playmaker. Even if he doesn't get the ball, it's Calvin Ridley. You got to respect him. And so he brings that threat to defense, and, it's going to suck that, we just didn't have him today.
What developed on the play to Chig in the 4th there?
Just a great play call by Bo. We executed it, and, Chig got open. He made a great catch.
Ken, what changes for you, if anything, for you late in games? I know you go back to Miami. You had success on late drives. The game in Arizona, and then today. What do you think goes into that for you in those moments?
I just think my process level, watching every situation in film, because you never know what situation you're going to be in any game, whether you got to, have a comeback or whether you're up the whole game, you got to bleed the clock out at times. So I just think, no matter what happens throughout the game, whether you have a good or bad game, your last drive got to be your best drive, and that's where you got to be able to turn the switch.
Is it more scrambling today, Cam? Was that by focus? Is that the way things just played out? And how helpful was it to do some running and pick up some first downs?
It's helpful to use my legs to help the, O-line and the wideouts out. And Houston's one of the teams where you're able to, have some scramble yards just because of how they rush. They got 2 good edge rushers, but when you continue to rush like they do, you give up some lanes for a quarterback get out, and, we were able to do that.
It seemed like until the last drive, you guys didn't really have any explosive plays. It was mostly short stuff underneath and things like that. Was that by design, something they were forcing you to do, or?
That's not by design. We always going to have shot plays in every game plan. But Houston, they don't give up a lot of shot plays. So, you got to continue to take, what they give you. We missed on some key opportunities. I had, a couple of bad balls to Mason, had a bad ball to Ellie right before the end of the half. So, I got to be able to put them in positions to make catches, and then that'll be our explosive plays.
There was a play that it looks like you made an adjustment to Mason Kinsey on the wheel route. Was that something that was built into the play, or was that something that you saw on tape and you exposed yourself?
Just something I see on tape. Get to, a perfect check for that coverage. And then Mason, he made a good catch.
These divisional games, Cam, you're playing teams the second time. Did you see anything that you felt you or the offense in better, or in general was better at second time around versus Houston?
Not really, because every team's gonna have a mix-up, no matter where you play once or twice. It's really us keeping our rules and then just executing the play call.
Yeah, with this being a one-score game all day, how do you process this one and just the way that it ended and losing on a field goal at the end when you guys were in it all day?
It just shows that we didn't do enough on offense. You score 13 points, you're not gonna win a lot of games. So we gotta be able to help the defense out. They played, they bust out today. They do it every week for us. But we gotta come through for these guys, in the back half of the season.
Cam, as the losing mounts and the talk starts to be more direct, like how can you keep the offense and defense, like the locker room itself, from splintering?
Be the same person every day. Is really it. I show up with the same mindset every day, along with the other guys, on the roster. And the outside noise will never get in our locker room because we know the real truth. We know what we got to be better at individually. I know what I have to do, to put our offense in a better situation to, score a lot of points. And at the end of the day, it's the only people in the locker room that matters.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. In the locker room, guys have said that they're tired of sugarcoating and they're going to be more direct.
Yeah, and they should be. And that's really the only way, winning, is gonna start when you establish, not BSing with your teammate, telling them the truth. That's the way I've played growing up, all the way till I got to college and to here. And that's just something that we got to emphasize going forward.